through Natalia's, oops. So welcome everyone to this live presentation on how to meet your inner leader. And thank you, Natalia, for inviting me as your guest. And my name is Rupda, and I have been teaching leadership and coaching around the world for many years. This is something I love to do. I'm very passionate about it. And I've come into this work over the last few decades because of my own upbringing and personal development over the last 40 years. So it's been a long journey for me in how I've sort of got to where I am today in working with individuals, groups, and teams. Yeah. But of course, the first place we start with is meeting our inner leader, and that changes everything in our lives. Yeah. So what I want to say a little bit about is first this part where some of the biggest barriers we have about meeting our inner leader, and also really meeting that place, because in a way, when we're meeting the leader within us, that part that is guiding us, supporting us, and also making decisions for us, we're meeting that place where we're empowered. Yeah. And so in a way, you're asking yourself to step into your power. And some people are really scared to step into their power. Some people are fearful of their power. What if I'm too much? So that's one obstacle that we have, to really dare to step into our power, dare to be seen, and dare to be heard, and also to recognize that you have what it takes. And that also is a journey in itself. And I want to talk a little bit about that as we proceed. Yeah. Another one of the barriers is that we have this strong belief that others have it and I don't. And we compare ourselves with others. And that's, of course, it sabotages us from really appreciating what we already have and the gifts that we come in with, yeah? And also our own inner wisdom and our own intelligence. It doesn't have to be an intelligence from some big, high academic, 7 years of PhD. It's your own life experience and the journey that it took for you to get where you are. And so you already have a wisdom there. You already have knowledge there. And some of us often, a lot, and you see it in Instagram a lot, we compare ourselves to other people's lives. They're better than me. And that's another one of those barriers that we have is I'm not good enough. And so the moment we go into I'm not good enough, and it's almost like feeling in a hole, we feel separate, we feel disconnected, we feel sometimes isolated, yeah? And that's a painful place to be in, because then we can't really land in ourselves and land in that feeling of I do have what it takes. And again, I want to talk a little bit about that. We're talking about what the barriers are that hold us back from really owning that part in ourselves. Because to own your inner leader is you're owning your voice. You're owning, your permission to be here, your right to be here. I have my birthright to hold my space, to have my space, to have my boundaries, for example, respected, to be respected. And there's something implicit in being in your inner leader where it's kind of like you see it today when people, it's like confidence, but it's not the confidence where you're macho confidence. It's like relaxed confidence. Yeah, it's when someone really is connected with themselves and they don't have to try to be something else or like someone else in order to really appreciate and value themselves. And that's where we wanted to go towards. That's initially the direction we want to move to, meet my inner leader, because your inner leader gives you so many jewels, gives you so much richness that you feel complete, that you feel a sense of wholeness, that you feel worthy, that you feel that you are enough. And it works, guys. I know, because I'm working with this for years in different countries, in different languages, and I see people go through that transformation when they really know how to self-coach, when they really know how to self-lead, and when from that place, they really know how to make decisions in their life. So some of the other barriers is around, one of the ones I know for very much is shame, is when we compare ourselves to other people, when we think we're not enough, when we are scared of our power, and then the other one is shame, yeah, of that I didn't do it, that I failed, yeah, the fear of failure, that I messed up, that I'm damaged goods. So that shame can be crippling, especially if you had some shame early on in your life. That can be like a trauma held in your body, and it can be like a contraction, and it doesn't really give you the feeling where you're relaxed in your body. And one way you can know if you're really relaxed in your body is if you feel yourself breathing, and if you feel yourself relaxed through the day. Yeah, and one way you can know when you're not relaxed in your body is when you're disconnected from your breathing, and when you're in contraction or tension, yeah, or can't sit still, or overthinking, over processing. So when we get into that place, often it's something from very early on, and usually connected to a trauma where something was imbalanced, yeah, and we want to come back into balance. And the beautiful thing about self-leading is that we learn how to come back into balance, and that's what we want. We don't want to be dependent on other people and around the world to make it happen for us. It's lovely if they can support us. Yes, great. But we want to also learn how to have inner support. How do I ground myself? How do I balance myself? How do I enable myself? How do I make authentic connections where I don't lose my sense of self, where I try to be something else, yeah, a happy face, yeah, but there's a disconnect, yeah. What we want is to be a real, honest, raw, authentic. And that is a big part of meeting your inner leader. And this is why we say always in the leadership training, that's the first point of contact, is how do I self-lead? Of course, because if I cannot self-lead, then how am I going to lead another? I also want to say a little bit about what you get out of when you start guiding other people, or when you start learning how to guide yourself. Some of the benefits of self-guiding, and also both professionally and personally, and how you make decisions in your life. Yeah. So, of course, a little bit what I was saying, when you come in contact with yourself, you are able to sense what actually is happening, not externally, but internally. That's why meditation is so powerful. That's why I often say to people, meditation helps you going from, the doing mode that everybody knows into listening mode. And it is from listening mode, when we start to listen to that voice inside, and you remember it often when you're a kid, that we used to have that internal dialogue more open, freely available, that when we start to feel ourselves, we start to feel connected. You also know it from intuition and gut feeling. And some of you are disconnected from your intuition because you've gotten so fast and rapid, and, in your speedy life. And some of you are going at the pace of like a Ferrari, and you don't able yourself to slow down and know what it's like to actually, what is it I need right now? All of a sudden we hit walls, and we hit burnouts, and we collapse, and we have breakdowns, and we don't understand, how did I get here? How did I set my life up the way it is right now? Because something's not working. And then when we start to go into self-leading and self-coaching, we already can see if the train is about to wreck way before it's happening. We can already sense what it is we need. We can already slow things down. We can already understand what it is I need, I want, what will support me, what behavioral change do I need to do. And when we start to tune into that, and I ask people to, often in the work, when we're going to do a course about this. This is why we're doing the live. So to kind of give you a taste of where we step into, is how we can work through the body, using the body to anchor some of these, intuitions and guidance and signals, so that you can make decisions, big decisions in your life. Yeah. And that's what we want to be. We want to be able to trust our gut feeling. We want to be able to trust our intuition. Because this part up here can go so fast that we can get confused, or we can have self-doubt, or we can go into mistrust, or, start to feel suspicious, and that, and again, creates a disconnect from your authentic self, from that gut feeling, from that, trust in the belly. And, I say this because one way you strengthen your relationship to your inner leader is so important through the body. And you see it with the samurais. Yeah. You see it where the samurais are, connected to their body, and they're so solid and grounded, and you can try to push them, and, and they're just fully present and in their body, grounded, so that when storms come, they know how to hold themselves. They know how to be present. And that gives them guidance. That gives them clarity. That gives them direction, so that when they come into battle and they're holding whatever instrument it is, their sword, and they're so connected. It's almost like an extension of them. And a big part of how they got to that place of being able to have direction, clarity, and make a decision. This is the right move. This is the right action. This is the right, place where we need to go to, is because they are in their bodies, not just reliant on one place. This is important. Yes, we need to have the wisdom and the knowledge and be able to have the narrative and how to navigate. But we also need to feel the solidity in our bodies, so that we know how to self-coach. Why is it important? Because a lot of you are spending time in anxiety, and panic attacks and fear and, shortness of breath. There's a disconnect with your body. And self-coaching and self-leading help you to feel grounded in your body, solid in your body, confident in your body, so that you can lean forward and brave, self-leadership. Brave your voice in what it is you have to say. Trust your instincts. Yeah? Trust the direction that you want to go. Trust your choices and the decisions that you need to make. And this is the power of self-coaching, self-leading. Yeah? It changed my life. So if it's something that you guys are interested in exploring further, where we go deeper into, the process of how we develop and strengthen our awareness towards our inner coach and our inner leader, so that we can enable ourselves to take these, decisions, and especially big decisions in our lives where there's transitions, whether it's changing a job or leaving a partner, or, starting a family, or, there's many decisions we face every day, even, and how we navigate that. And when we learn how to self-coach, it's transformative. And this is why we want to bring this to you, so that you guys have the tools and the techniques and the know-how, not just from the concept, but from an embodied place. So the course is called How to Become a Leader in Your Life. And Natalie's been generous enough to, bring this forward so that you can have the opportunity to come and take it online wherever you are, so you're not limited by location. And in that, you will learn the 5 principles, the 5 steps that I use. Then I will guide you through it. I will be there with you live, so you can ask questions, and you get all the knowledge and the tools and direct experience for how to meet your inner leader. Yeah. So I hope that you can join us. Again, it's called How to Become a Leader in Your Own Life. Probably there's going to be a link somewhere connected to this live or this video, whenever you're watching. And I really hope to meet some of you there. It's really been an honor. And I hope you got something out of this very short but beautiful live. Yeah. Thank you again, and take care.